6 o'clock, and I'll call our meeting to order. If we could begin with the Pledge of Allegiance and welcome our friends from Pawnee Elementary School. Come on in. They're going to lead us in the pledge. Come on over here. We're so glad you're here. Well, you guys might be one of our biggest groups ever.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. Okay, whenever you're ready to lead us in the pledge, you kick us off.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you so much. There's a microphone right around there, and we would love to hear from you if you could tell us your name and your favorite school hot lunch item. Okay?
My name is Bernadette Roche, and I am one of the co-sponsors of Student Council. I'm also the librarian at Pawnee Elementary.
I'm Kate Bettiga. I am also one of the sponsors, and I'm one of the resource teachers at Pawnee.
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
My name is Evangeline Mary Lowe. I am in 5th grade, and I like lasagna for lunch.
Hi, my name is Ava Courage, and I'm in 5th grade, and I like the hot pizza.
Hi, my name is Olivia Wiley. I'm 5th grade, and I like the pizza.
Awesome.
My name is Abigail Esimo, and I'm in the 5th grade. My favorite hot lunch at Pawnee is probably the mac and cheese.
Excellent.
My name's Melody. I'm in 4th grade, and my favorite lunch is probably a burger.
My name is Smilim Parada Paredes, and I'm in 4th grade, and my favorite lunch is the burger, too.
Excellent.
My name is Lizzie Dexter, and my favorite hot lunch is the walking taco.
Taco.
My name is Elizabeth. I'm in 5th grade, and my favorite lunch item is the sweet and sour chicken and rice.
Oh.
My name is Sloan, and I'm in 4th grade, and my favorite lunch item is the burger.
My name is Nora Sanders. I'm in 4th grade, and my favorite lunch is pizza.
Excellent.
My name is Olivia. I'm in 4th grade, and my favorite part of the lunch is probably chicken sandwich.
Hello, I'm Maddie, and I'm in 4th grade, and my favorite food and lunch is waffle and chicken nuggets.
Hello, my name is Malik. I'm in 4th grade, and my favorite lunch item is probably French toast.
French toast.
Hello, my name is Abel, and I'm in 4th grade, and my favorite lunch meal is probably pizza.
My name is Luke, and I'm in 4th grade, and my favorite lunch meal is spicy chicken sandwich.
Excellent.
My name's Avery, and I'm a 4th grader, and my favorite lunch item is the cheese pizza.
My name is Dakota, and my favorite lunch item is pizza.
My name's Sierra, and my favorite lunch item is chicken nuggets.
All right.
My name is Zena, and I'm in 5th grade, and my favorite lunch item is a cheeseburger.
Excellent. Well, I'm now officially hungry, so thank you all for being here. You have a great night. You made our night. Thank you. All right. I'm ready for some French toast sticks. Okay. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda if there are no changes, and a second?
So moved, Hembry.
Thanks. Second?
Second, Boyd Ronan.
All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. All right, we have several minutes, items 1.4 to 1.9. If there are no changes, could I get a motion to approve all of those agenda items?
So moved, Garcia.
Thank you. Second?
Second, Hembry.
All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Dr. Schumacher, can you lead us in our superintendent report?
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Sinclair.
let the presentation get up there. All right, so our amazing signature program students are making a name for themselves in competition. Two groups of two-dimensional animation students led by Enza Ketchum took part in a 24-hour animation competition. This was a competition that drew more than 550 teams, mostly made up of college and university competitors. Out of 49 high school teams, Shawnee Mission's Recover Untitled team ranked in the top 10. Congratulations to them. The Cosmic Sunflowers, great name, right? Also finished and submitted their competition challenge, which is something that not all teams were able to do in that time period. Coach Enza Ketchum said these students did amazing, and we think so too. Congratulations to these animators. SMSD cybersecurity students also had a strong showing at their first competition of the season at Wichita State University. Our students took first place in the 27-hour Capture the Flag competition that drew teams from high schools and junior colleges. Shawnee Mission also has a team that placed 8th in that competition, so congratulations to these students and their sponsor, Jessica Tickle. Shawnee Mission has announced one primary and one secondary teacher to represent the district in the 2026 Kansas Teacher of the Year program. Shauna Hammett, a kindergarten teacher at Apache Elementary School, and Laura Caldwell, an English teacher at Horizons High School, are the district's nominees. The Kansas Teacher of the Year Award recognizes and utilizes representatives of excellent teaching in the elementary and secondary classrooms of the state. Both educators will be honored as part of the Kansas Teacher of the Year program. Just huge congratulations to them. Shawnee Mission Parents as Teachers has earned the designation of Blue Ribbon Affiliate from the National Parents as Teachers Organization. This designation recognizes that our affiliate provides the highest quality services possible. Shawnee Mission Parents as Teachers completed a process that demonstrated they meet or exceed all PAT requirements, as well as a large majority of quality standards. Parents as Teachers serves families of young children, ages birth to kindergarten, by providing information, support, personal home visits, social activities, and developmental screenings. We so appreciate all the Parents as Teachers does to support optimal development for the youngest children in our community. We'll include a link in the recap that we email to all staff and families for more information. As one of the hosts of Shawnee Mission Mic'd Up, I'm excited to let our community know that our most recent episode highlights the work of our amazing food service team, kind of appropriate with our discussion with our kids there. Before that, we highlighted middle school sports and the addition of middle school football. We continue to release new Mic'd Up episodes every other Thursday, and of course, we encourage everyone to download or subscribe. And at this time, I'm going to invite Dr. Abby Morgan to introduce our first Shawnee Mission All-Star of the evening.
Board members and Dr. Schumacher, thank you so much for the incredible opportunity to highlight an amazing work of our All-Star. I have a special guest, third grader Ellie, who's going to actually introduce our guest for us.
Hi, my name is Ellie Cox, and I am a third grader in Miss Lemke's third grade class. Miss Lemke is amazing because she helps all of her students, and she always asks us what brain breaks we want to do. And she is funny. She is really, really nice. She makes mistakes just like all of us sometimes. I think Miss Lemke is a all-star teacher, and I am lucky to have her as a teacher. Can everyone please watch this video of Miss Lemke.
Megan's an all-star because she believes in the abilities of each student and really strives to find what they need to reach their highest level of success.
She's a great teacher, she's great at teaching, and she's really kind to other teachers too.
She is just a huge part of Apache and what makes Apache so special.
Megan is the type of teacher that every parent wants their kid to have because she believes in them and really makes sure that they are successful in everything they do.
Even as a student teacher, she was somebody who you just were kind of like, yeah, she's got it. Like, she had that natural ability to engage with students. You walk into her classroom and you instantly feel just a sense of community and belonging, and all of her students rush to get to school each day so that they can be a part of morning meeting.
She truly has a heart for our students. She's not fazed at all by our students who might have different needs and different areas of support. She's willing to step in and figure out what they need and how she can best support them.
What I like about Miss Lemke is that she really helps me when I have a problem or anything, and she makes me feel comfortable to talk to her, and she helps me with my weaknesses and make them become my strengths.
She's been helping me when I've been struggling. She's gives so much kindness to me, and it really makes me happy. So I feel like she deserves this award.
What is it? I love it.
Congratulations, Ms. Lemke. I'm so excited that you're being recognized for the amazing teacher that you are every day to all of our students.
Congratulations, Megan. I am not at all surprised that you won this award.
Congratulations, Miss Lemke. You very deserve this, and thank you for many years of teaching.
Megan, so excited for you. I've watched you grow over the last several years, and you are just so deserving of this award.
I really think you deserve this award, Miss Lemke. Good job.
All right, Ms. Lemke, please come on up.
Thank you so much. I want to express my gratitude to the board. This is an honor, and thank you so much. I want to thank you to my many mentors at Apache. I wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. And thank you to my family for all your support. Thank you.
Once again, congratulations to Ms. Lemke. Great job. At this time, I want to invite Dr. Kelly Capper to the podium to introduce our next All-Star.
Good evening, Dr. Kelly Capper, principal at Indian Hills.
I'm Amara Jaley. I'm in 7th grade at Indian Hills.
We are just so ecstatic that Brittany Jackson is getting this award, so well deserving, just a team player, a great colleague, but also just such a great person.
I love seeing Miss Jackson walking around. She just has the biggest smile, and she, like, a couple of days ago, she was playing basketball with me and my teammates before school, and I just think it's really cool how she interacts with the students at our school.
And we'll turn our attention to the video.
Custodians are a pillar of the school community. With almost 1,000 people in the building every day, it's quite a large task. She handles it with a can-do, will-do attitude and in a positive way that impacts all of our staff and student culture.
The most amazing thing to me about her is everything always seems to be done, but you don't always see her. And so that's what blows my mind is she's always ahead of it, she's always ready, and anytime we need something, it's done often before we ask.
The kids get to see that no matter what role you are in, you are an important piece to our community. And she's probably one of our most important pieces. Would our building run without her? Absolutely not.
Hi, congratulations, Brittany. We love you. You work so hard.
I think it's like her personality and her work ethic. She's a very strong worker, and she's a very important person to all of us in our community.
Just her, like, the way that she walks around, she's like really just happy and just like seems like a really fun person.
You know, Indian Hills is already a special place to come, but Brittany just absolutely magnifies and amplifies that. So students, especially at the middle level, are in tune to wanting to be with people that are authentic and real and genuine. And one of the things that Brittany does is she just brings that energy. She's going to be real, she's going to be confident, she's going to be connected with students. What you see is what you get in the best way possible. Brittany's just positive attitude with everything, her absolute commitment to making this place be everything that it possibly can be, taking care of facilities, taking care of staff, taking care of students, just absolutely just adds to the already amazing experience we have here at this school.
Brittany, I am so grateful that you're here at Indian Hills. I'm grateful for everything that you do, how you interact with our staff, students, how you have taken time over the summer during the school year to help make me a better leader, as well as help foster learning in all of our students. Indian Hills is a great place because of people like you, and I just want to say thank you.
And now, Brittany Jackson.
Thank you. I just want to thank everyone. Thank everyone at Indian Hills Middle School. 3/15/2024 this year, I had to bury my stepson. I came back to work, and the staff, they made me feel so good. It was like therapy. Everyone thought that my family thought I needed to go to therapy after everything, but when I went inside of the school, the staff there, they made me feel so good. It was nothing that I wouldn't do for them. When I met Capper and Toby, when they came in, they made me feel even better about my job. As a custodian, you don't really put yourself on a high pedestal as everyone else, but thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I truly do. Thank you, Shawnee Mission School District, for the 10 plus years you guys gave me employment. So I thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson, for everything you do. We're all in. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks to Ms. Limpke again, and thanks to Ms. Jackson. Thanks, everyone. This concludes my superintendent report.
Thank you. Next, we have our board reports, item 2.2, and we'll start with SMAC PTA, Mr. Garcia.
No extensive report. We have a meeting coming up this next Monday evening.
Okay. And can we move on to the Shawnee Mission Education Foundation report?
Sure. No extensive report there either. Just want to express my gratitude to SMEF for their strong leadership with SMEF breakfast a few weeks ago. I know we spoke in depth about it last meeting, but didn't have the chance to report on it here. But grateful for their leadership and all the opportunities they provide our students. And yeah, looking forward to continuing along in the school or semester and school year as a part of their group. So that's all.
Great, thank you. Ms. Owsley, anything on the KASB Legislative Committee?
No, nothing more than we'll be voting on it at the KASB convention in Wichita in or around mid-November.
Okay, all right. And then in terms of our district legislative platform, is that something that we'll be looking at?
Yeah, Mr. Smith, myself will be meeting with, and Dr. Stubblefield will be meeting with Dr. Little. Coming up recently, we'll be sharing that with the board.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Sorry, they connect in my mind. So, and then Policy Review Committee. Back to you, Ms. Owsley. We have.
So we met on the 30th to go over general updates to KASB boilerplate policy that they recommend. And then at the end of that meeting, we did have kind of like an introductory discussion to the parent-funded positions conversation. We set additional meetings coming up in the future. Rachel is coordinating the collection of general policies from across the country, since there's not necessarily any from within Kansas. Dr. Schumacher was going to be reaching out to the building leadership teams to discuss things with them, and then also beginning the process of gathering kind of a general equity report from all of the buildings in the district. And in our next meeting, which is on November 6th, we are going to be meeting with the leadership team from SHARE. And then tentatively, we're looking forward to the meeting after that, likely including conversations with the foundations and PTA. So I think I feel like that's everything, but, okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. The Finance and Facilities Committee, Jessica and Ms. Hembry and I serve on that. That committee will be meeting again Thursday, November 7th at 4 o'clock. Our last meeting we had recently, I think I talked about this, we had a pretty robust conversation about the property tax statement we receive annually and what that looks like, and maybe adding kind of an explainer to that for our community about what all those different funds and how those dollars are used within the school district. And looking forward to meeting again next Thursday. And then the real world learning, is there any kind of updates there?
Nothing new. We had a great report last board meeting. I think we're well underway there.
Okay, all right, great. All right, that concludes board reports. So item 2.3, board finance report.
Yeah, Mr. Knapp is not here, but you see before you two different reports that we always provide to you. Just a couple statements, and maybe this will suffice for any questions you may have. Financial reports are as of September 30th. That's the end of that first quarter. September includes the first payroll for teachers and many of our classified positions. In relation to that second report, which is our standard ESSER report, we did have our final retention payment of $1,400 to employees on September 20th. That did conclude and wrap up, and we fully spent all of our $23.7 million by that September 30th deadline. Great. So we utilized all of those funds, which of course was a good thing. And maybe just for our community, as a reminder, our ESSER spending summaries can be found on the district's website under Information Central. So if anyone has any questions about that, they can go to our website.
Great. All right, I'm going to look up and down the dais. Do we have any questions regarding the board financial report? Okay, thank you. And thank you, Mr. Knapp and team. Discussion items. So next we have 3 discussion items. The first 3.1 is the strategic plan quarter 1 updates. Kind of exciting.
Very exciting. Right. So as Dr. Neal is getting ready there, just want to thank her specifically for all of her work, and of course the many staff and community members and our kids who've worked so hard this first quarter on our action teams. As we all know, this is our community's plan. This is not Dr. Neal's plan or mine. It's not the board's. It's our entire community's. And so we're really proud of that, and we're proud of the work of our action teams. This is our first update to you on our new phase 2 of the plan. So we do have significant information for you. Dr. Neal's going to lead you through it, and I may chime in it as well at times. So Dr. Neal, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you to the board and Dr. Schumacher for the opportunity to bring you the update this evening on the strategic plan. As Dr. Schumacher mentioned, this certainly is not my plan. I am honored to serve as sort of just an organizer and moving it forward, but it really does reflect the work of so many. And so I'm very excited this evening to bring you the first update of Cycle 2. As you may recall, let's see if we can move the slide. Ellie, can you help with that? There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, thank you so much. Tricky. As you will recall, this plan was really built as Dr. Gunn, who assisted the steering committee in really taking them through this. This was built as an aspirational plan, identifying really that North Star of where we want to go, where do we want our students to be in the future, and really challenging us as a district to think about not only our possibilities, but also our work as a system. And so this is the graphic that you will see many places. The steering committee affirmed the beliefs and the mission, as well as the key objectives that our students are going to achieve academic success through challenging personalized learning plan, develop and utilize personal resilience while mastering those essential competencies that lead to college and career readiness, and develop interpersonal skills to be engaged, empathetic members of the local and global community. We always start anchoring our work to this because it's really important, and we're working really hard to ensure that everything ties into this plan and that we are really optimizing everything that we do to move forward for our students' success. The one thing that our steering committee did do in their work is they were affirming those items. They also looked at what the strategy areas should be for these next 5 years, and some of them are familiar and were continuations of the work. For example, learning, belonging, people, and facilities. And then, as you'll recall, we had 2 new strategy areas, mental health and technology. And so we're going to look this evening and dig into the work that has started in Q1. We got off to a very quick start. As you will see here, we had 8 action teams that kicked off their work during the first quarter. And that was no small feat. And so I will remind you that we have some really wonderful facilitators and members of these action teams. They are all volunteering their time to do this work. And so I really feel like that it's important to acknowledge that, and we really appreciate them. We have several more to continue. We'll talk a little bit more about what's coming in Q2 a little later in the presentation. But without robust interest and volunteers, we would not be able to complete this work. So we're going to start out with our learning strategy. So ensuring that meaningful and personalized learning experiences for all of our students. The anchor words that I would take you back to are around personalized learning, high quality instruction, and culturally responsible. So making sure that each student can engage in that personalized learning and have a plan for that, guaranteeing that high quality instruction, and particularly embedding and integrating those interpersonal skills into their work so that they are college and career ready, and then providing equitable access to differentiated instruction and culturally responsive learning experiences for our students based on their needs. So that is strategy 1. This is the Gantt chart, as you will recall. Anyone in the community can follow along. We have the Gantt chart that takes us out the 5 years. This is just simply what's happening in year 1. So let's take a look at the update this evening on the work that has started in that learning strategy for Q1. We have 1.2.1, which is around embedding interpersonal skills into our curriculum maps and providing professional development around that. So in terms of that 1.2.1, that team has started. What they have been doing in Q1 during their meetings, they've been researching interpersonal skills and defining those and looking at the best practices of how we can integrate those into the learning. Also reviewing needs within our business community. It's important to define those interpersonal skills, but also make sure that the interpersonal skills that we are focusing on and helping our students with are what they will need to be successful in the future. And so reaching out to get some broader information around what are the skills that they will need in the future. And determining then from that, which interpersonal skills are we going to kind of quote unquote guarantee for all of our students. And so that's where they've started, and we'll see in a moment what their next steps will be. Another action team, and this one is kind of an ongoing action team. This is around aligning those grading and assessment practices to reflect student growth and proficiency on those essential competencies. The team that's working on that has been working again around kind of digging in and unpacking that step, defining grading and assessment, determining which components should be integrated and are integral to these processes, considering alignment to our state standards, how that looks and how that should be aligned. And then also, they had a robust discussion, and they felt it was important to, a determination that they made, that behavior needs to really be separated from that academic reporting. And so that's a little bit of what that team has been doing first quarter. We also have an action team around action step 1.3.3, which is focused on increasing professional learning, specifically to differentiated core instruction. The team that has met in quarter one to begin their work, they started simply by making sure that they could define differentiated core instruction so that they have a common framework to work from. And then also, in their first meetings, they have been reviewing work from the previous strategic plan cycle related to this area, and so their work will be ongoing. In terms of next steps for these particular action teams, the interpersonal skills piece, they're going to develop a finalized list of those guaranteed interpersonal skills, determine how we can provide guidance to embed those skills within the curriculum maps, and then provide guidance around the professional learning that'll be needed to support that for our educators. Our grading and assessment team, they're going to further refine the definitions for grading and assessment and also begin really digging into an implementation plan to move that forward. You'll recall that again is ongoing work that is continuing from our cycle 1. And so we're going to work to make sure we can implement that in cycle 2. And then under professional learning around differentiated core instruction, that team is going to continue to explore professional learning opportunities that were suggested by the previous action team and what those needs will be. And they've been doing already, you can see that work as you look at some of our pre-service and our first quarter professional development. A lot of that already is focusing around shoring up and ensuring we have really solid core instruction and Tier 1 instruction. All right, strategy 2. Strategy 2 is our belonging strategy. So this is a continuation strategy, but you will note that we will intentionally strengthen, that was an addition in cycle 2, our unified, equitable, and inclusive culture to ensure belonging for all. The anchor words again in strategy 2 are around access, so ensuring that equitable access for students, staff, and families so they can fully engage in all aspects of the Shawnee Mission School District experience. Communication is key to this particular strategy, so making sure we have unified, accessible, cohesive, and consistent communication. And then connections and relationships, so facilitating community events and district-wide programs to create a more connected, inclusive school community and environment. Those are the keys for strategy 2. Here's the snapshot again, just year 1 of what's going to be happening in strategy 2. All right, let's take a look at what they have been up to so far in quarter 1. So we have 2 action teams here. One, strengthen belonging support groups for all of our staff and students. They really have just kind of kicked off. They had kind of an initial meeting. This group is continuing. Again, it's a continuation of work that has started already, and they will continue moving forward to ensure that we have support mechanisms in place across the district to support all of our staff and students. In terms of action step 2.3.4, that is focused around ongoing professional development, specifically around enhancing the student voice to foster that belonging. So that particular team met, and they have reviewed the cycle 1 work, discussing what's currently being done to strengthen belonging, also looking at opportunities for growth and, importantly, long-term sustainability, and also digging into how are we going to measure success around this. and identifying our future priorities. And as it relates to belonging, this week, just as some of you may note that we had our DEIB teams that are convening here and working, and they are working to continue that work. And so our action teams will continue to work in tandem with some of that work that's already being done. The next steps for these particular teams, in particular around the professional development, they want to move forward by discussing what research, data, and background information is necessary so that they really feel like they can put together some well-informed recommendations as it relates to professional development. And they're looking at current roles and responsibilities, data to support the needs of the district. They're going to do some cost-benefit analysis and then identify, of course, what that professional development will look like. Strategy 3, that's our people strategy. We will enhance our community-centered environment so we can recruit and retain diverse and exemplary educators, staff, and families by being the best place to learn, work, and connect. The 3 anchors here are mentoring and support, recruit and retain, so that recruiting and retention of all of our staff, and then the family connection, so developing a family recruitment and retention plan. You will recall that a hallmark of Cycle 2, our strategic plan, really broadens the idea of our strategic plan to not just only be within the school district walls, but really to be thoughtful about the community as a whole. Here's the snapshot of our people strategy and how we are implementing just again in year 1. All right, let's see what our teams have been up to so far. So we have a strategy action step around exploring and implementing equitable hiring practices. So as it relates to this step, we have had some work around continuing to explore, review, and improve our hiring practices to ensure that we are using equitable, and that we have developed equitable hiring practices that will engage and recruit a diverse workforce in all of our roles. Some examples of some of the work that is going on, that started and will be ongoing: reviewing job descriptions to ensure that they are not only current, but that they are accessible to a wide range of candidates. Action step 3.1.6 is specifically focused on growing teacher efficacy through research-based professional development. So this particular focus is around ensuring that all of our district professional learning is grounded in helping to grow our teacher efficacy. Again, I would suggest that much of the professional learning, I know that in our leadership and learning teams, as we are working on developing and organizing this, we really do link back, particularly within across the plan, all of those professional learning focused steps, making sure that our plans are reflecting what these outcomes are to be. Our instructional coaches are focusing on teacher efficacy when they're planning their job-embedded professional learning, and that has already, you would already see that in some of the work that they are doing. And then again, our leadership and learning and our curriculum and instruction teams are focused on that for our long-range professional development planning. And then action step 3.2.2 is around developing a superintendent's classified advisory council. And so the plan here is that we're following the same process used to identify the representatives who serve on the Superintendent Certified Advisory Council. Similar process for our classified team members, to identify and engage them in participation. And you will note in Q2, there is a plan specific to that we will share communication from the district around a nomination process and a timeline for that submission, and with the goal of that classified advisory council, those members being selected in time to have an initial meeting in Q2 sometime in December. Next steps around the equitable hiring practices piece. This spring, we'll continue our ongoing professional learning with our administrators to provide updates on the hiring practices to ensure everyone is acting with consistency across the district and that they are informed and have the tools and the education and training that they need to ensure they are implementing all of those equitable hiring practices in the district. And then as it relates to the teacher efficacy, just that will continue to be a focus for professional learning moving forward. We'll continue to engage our teachers and our team members around after some of this professional development around surveys so that we get information back so we can ensure that we're hitting that mark and we truly are helping them to grow their own efficacy in their work. Strategy 4, technology. Ensuring the intentional and innovative use of relevant technology throughout the district to achieve our mission. You'll recall that technology is a new strategy strand in Cycle 2, and there are 2 anchors around that. One specific to the teaching and learning, so supporting our teaching and learning with research-based and developmentally appropriate technologies to guarantee our students' success. And then the other piece around professional development, so providing those professional learning resources and staffing on an ongoing basis to ensure everyone's equipped to utilize current, accessible, and future technology to promote self-efficacy and effectively impact instruction. So the teaching and learning side, and then also making sure we're training and developing the skills necessary to utilize them as tools in the classroom. Here is a sample of the first year, and let's see what's been happening. As I know everyone in the room is aware, this certainly is a topic that has garnered a lot of interest, and we recognize that there was a lot of urgency to make sure we could dig into this work. And so I'm happy to report we rolled out Q1, our 4.1.1, which is developing a curricular cadre team specific to instructional technology. So during Q1, we've been able to assemble members who will serve on that cadre. We've assembled them, but their work really hasn't begun quite yet. Many of those, or several of those cadre members also are making up the internal members on our action team 4.1.3, which is specifically around creating a developmental guide for age-appropriate use of instructional technology. You will recall that also includes a focus around personal device use. And so that is an internal and external team. They have been working hard during Q1. They have by far probably had the most meetings and really started off with that work in Q1. So far, things that they have accomplished, they have been reviewing the purpose and certainly looking specifically at what that action step is and the work that they need to do, setting goals and creating a process for how they as an action team will come to consensus. They have reviewed cell phone and personal use policies from surrounding districts. They have created research subgroups. One of their subgroup has compiled research on discipline and cell phone use, and then the other subgroup worked on creating the thought exchange survey, which we put out. It's been out and it closed. And so we want to respect the work that the action team is doing, but knowing that many in the room and many who may be viewing at home may have participated in the thought exchange, we wanted to just give you just some overview general statistics around the thought exchange participation. And then the action team will actually be using the data and digging into that to inform their work that they will be doing. So just in general, this is the question that was posed. What, if any, recommendations do you have for improving the current use of cell phone or personal electronic devices guidelines? A breakdown of the participation, we had more than 4,600 participants, and they provided more than 3,600 actual thoughts that then generated almost 75,000 ratings. So we had very robust participation in this thought exchange. If you think back to our thought exchange when we kicked off the strategic plan, the steering committee, we had about 1,400 participants. So you can see that this participation was very strong. In terms of how people identified their relationship to the district, 72% of the participants in this thought exchange identified as parents. We had 13% who identified as teachers, 15% as students. We had 1% identified as administrators, 3% as some kind of a support team member, and then 3% who listed other. So they could have been community member or something that they didn't feel fit into one of those other categories. In terms of how they reflected their connection, 37% indicated a connection at high school. That was their focus as they were taking this thought exchange. 36% elementary, and 27% identified as middle school. In terms of feeder pattern connections, we had 24% that indicated Shawnee Mission East, 22% Shawnee Mission South, 17% Shawnee Mission West, 15% Shawnee Mission North, 14% Shawnee Mission Northwest, and 7% as overall district.
Dr. Neal, if I could, just a couple comments.
Yes.
I want to thank that action team for the work that they've been doing. It's been hard work. It's been tedious work. They've really been committed to it. Chris Lowe and Lacey Warren are leading up that group, and I see a community member out there who participates in that group, and there's been a lot of folks working on that, so thanks to all of them. I don't think there's a day that goes by that I don't think about this issue. I'm guessing you guys are probably in the same boat. I'm really confident in the fact that they're going to bring forward to us a thoughtful, well-researched recommendation to ELT and eventually to the Board of Education. So just a thanks to them. Secondly, Dr. Neal referenced this. We will share the results of the thought exchange, like the deep findings. But again, we want to make sure that that committee can work on their own without the input of people's opinions right now. So when we bring a recommendation to you, we will certainly share those findings. So again, thanks to that team and thanks to our community for being moderately patient with us.
All right, in terms of next steps, we mentioned that we are forming an instructional technology cadre. They'll begin really digging into their work later this year. Likely Q4 will be when they will start. And then our team, again, that's working on 4.1.3. We've shared the thought exchange information out with them. They're continuing at their next meeting. They'll continue to dig into that. And then using that information, the research that their team has done, just a reminder, as Dr. Schumacher mentioned, they'll be providing some suggested recommendations that they will forward up to the superintendent and executive leadership team for their discussion and consideration. Strategy 5, our second new to Cycle 2 strategy, and that is around mental health, fostering an environment that supports the mental, social, and emotional well-being of the entire Shawnee Mission learning community, including physical well-being. Our anchors around this are around awareness and education, so promoting that mental health awareness within the community, creating a centralized resource, so resources, a platform where people can go to get that support or to find resources to support their mental health needs. And then around personnel and partnerships, ensuring that we have adequate and reasonable access to school-based mental health professionals in partnership with community resources. So those are our three. You will recall that our students that were on the steering committee were extremely passionate about this particular strategy being a part of this next Cycle 2. Here's how the work lays out for year 1. In terms of what they have been working on so far, we have a team that is combined to look at 4.3.1, which is around reviewing staff to student ratios and really looking at our staffing and developing a plan to meet the social, emotional, and academic needs of our students. They also are working on 5.3.2, which is around clarifying and defining the roles and responsibilities of mental health professionals. As this team met, they actually decided the order that we have it in with 5.3.1 going first quarter and 5.3.2 second quarter, that really doesn't make sense. We need to have that clarity around the definition of roles. So they've just kind of flipped that work. So 5.3.2, that defining those roles and responsibilities, has been really what they've started digging into first quarter. So they have created a statement of purpose, looking at, making sure they understand what their work is to be and looking for what that end goal is. again, developing their process for achieving consensus across their work on both of those steps. They've worked to gather information and determine what their team needs to accomplish this task, and then scheduling their future meetings where they'll really dig in. They've just basically kind of started initially and getting their work off the ground. And then they'll start on the work of looking at those staffing ratios, digging more into that sometime this quarter. And so they're collecting information, and they'll ultimately develop some recommendations to put forth to the superintendent. All right. Facilities. Strategically focus our resources to support state-of-the-art facilities to accomplish the beliefs, mission, and objectives within our strategic plan. This one, remember, has two pieces: the bond planning, so developing a strategic bond plan, and then creating update and development cycles, so creating like a projected cycle of building maintenance. Those are the two pieces under facilities. This is how the work during year one is going to lay out for strategy 6. In first quarter, under the facilities plan, they link together conducting the independent facility audits and identifying those best practices in facility planning and design. This is really ongoing work that is continued kind of from cycle 1 through into cycle 2. So conducting audits to assess our current safety protocols, including secure entrances, also looking at air quality, and identifying our HVAC, our heating and cooling improvements to enhance our learning spaces. And then researching a new crisis response platform to stay at the forefront of security innovations. And then under action step 6.2.4, around maximizing and maintaining bond and capital budgets, our Finance and Facility Committee has been reviewing the remaining bond and capital funds, and this meeting resulted in a prioritized list of projects that align with the district's strategic plan to reflect current needs. Our next steps will be they'll continue to meet weekly, continue to assess those concerns and prioritize the needs as it relates to facility planning, and also continue to monitor the budget and discuss projects throughout the district. And so that will continue to occur in conjunction with our Facilities and Finance Committee. All right, so we started quarter 1, 8 action teams. Here you can see we have another several action teams that are going to kick off for quarter 2. So in learning, we'll be working to create a framework of experiences that connect beyond the classroom. And that, we talked a little bit, there was an earlier mention around real-world learning. That connects to that work as well. And then also that we'll have a team connected to that will look at designing and implementing a middle school model to support career exploration and interpersonal competencies. So again, great connection there with that real-world learning. We also will have 1.2.4 that will kick off its work in quarter 2 around creating a framework that organizes our tools. You in previous meetings have heard about U-Science or market value assets, some of those different tools that we utilize. So creating a framework to organize those tools to help our students really create more ownership and engagement in creating their own plan for college and career success. And then we'll have 1.3.1, an action team that will kick off looking at increasing our pre-K early childhood sites in the district. Under belonging, we'll have an action team that will begin its work around that communication piece that we talked about was really important in this cycle too. So they'll be focused on creating a streamlined set of communication policies and procedures. In our strategy 3 around people, we'll have an action team that will look at supporting the growth of our certified team members by implementing a retention plan, enhancing the evaluation process and systematic communication, and then identifying and developing data collection specific to our classified team members, so creating sort of that data dashboard for them. Around technology, developing an auditing process or cycle to examine our current instructional use of technology. So we'll have a team that will begin their work on that. And then related to mental health, we have teams that will kick off looking more at that resource portion. So They'll first create a comprehensive inventory of our existing well-being resources, and then focus on creating a community well-being hub that will include tools and resources that can be utilized at school, home, and across the community. So, that said, let's go back one. We need a lot of volunteers still. Those are just the teams that are going to start in Q2. We'll still have a few more Q3 and 4 just this year. So that QR code, and I know that our communications team in the board recap will send this out. We're still looking for really great volunteers. So if you haven't signed up yet, or if you know someone, please share that link with them. We would love to have their voices and would really appreciate their volunteer work to help move our strategic plan forward for success. Also, the community can follow along. We try to have a really transparent process and a process of accountability around our strategic plan and our work. And so you will note that in this particular Q1 of the Gantt chart, you won't see any changes because we're just starting. But Q2, you'll begin to see those updates that will begin appearing in those columns as we move across all 5 years, similar to what we did in cycle 1. So people can follow along, they can see how that work is occurring, and of course, we'll have the opportunity to come back and share out reports periodically with you here as well. And I want to take a moment to thank and acknowledge Lindsay Constance. She was a member of the steering committee. She's doing her doctoral work, and she graciously helped put some of these pieces together for this evening. And then because in Shawnee Mission, I mentioned we are trying to make sure we are focusing all of our work and connecting it together. We're connecting our strategic plan work with our KESA, that Kansas Educational Systems Accountability work. We also connect that to our WIGs, to our 20-day plans that our building administrators are putting together. And so in November, I'm excited to just give you a little spoiler alert. Colleague Dr. Matt Anderson and Dr. Dennis will be bringing KESA update to the November meeting as well, and you'll see how some of those things connect with this work. And now it is my pleasure to stand for any questions.
All right. Thank you so much to you and the team of folks who really are moving this work forward. The attention to detail is not lost on any of us, I don't think, and it's that detail and that precision and that caring that really, I think, manifests itself in the opportunities that our students are able to experience and the success they're able to achieve. So thank you very much for that work and the commitment to this approach. And we will do what we can to recruit more action team members.
Yes, please.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to look to the dais. I'm going to see if any members have questions. Mr. Westbrook.
Well, I want to echo what Mary just said about the work. It's fabulous work. It's precise, it's well-researched, it's engaging, not only because people are engaged in it and from the community, but because it's really compelling to see that we have a sense of direction like this. So I commend it, and I really am excited about it. Dr. Neal, you wouldn't be surprised if I had a technology question, and it's really not one that is in any way critical of the work that you're doing. The term artificial intelligence is now a popular term that's been used an awful lot, and several books have now been written about it. Some people characterize it as the next industrial revolution. The AI is going to do in our society what the printing press did for our society years ago. Others say it's just a whim and it's just a fad and it's going to come and go. In either case, I suspect we're going to be called on to identify what is our position on AI, where are we going to turn to get reliable information about whether it's helpful or whether there's something about it that we need to be concerned with. So I just wonder if that is a question that we might want to raise with the technology group in your plan, and at some point maybe hear your thoughts about how we should remain sensitive to that and capture whatever we can that would be helpful and keep away from our classrooms those things that would not be.
So, Mr. Westbrook, I appreciate the question, and I would like to give, I'd have to give a great nod to Jenny Collier, who's our coordinator of instructional technology. Last year, when AI, artificial intelligence, really began to sort of kind of catch fire, and we were hearing a lot about it. She worked with our curriculum instruction team and others to just sort of start putting together just a kind of an overview, educational information that was shared out with our administrators. It has also been incorporated probably, I would say more maybe at the secondary level at this point in time, maybe more so than elementary, although elementary teachers could have availed themselves. But we've had sessions, professional learning sessions even, at our instructional fairs, our I-fairs, even some of our pre-service. The pre-service ones in I-Fair would be voluntary for teachers to elect to attend those. But we have, knowing that that was going to be starting to be a question and people were going to ask about it, we wanted to make sure that they at least could have some information to understand it. She also put together some ways to talk with students about it and about how that tool, which you're correct, it can be a very powerful tool, but how to use that appropriately and to look at how it's generated, whether it's completely generated work through AI or if it's just like an initial outline and then you can put your own personal work into it, a variety of things like that. So I would see that this will continue because technology continues to grow and change and evolve quickly, and we've certainly seen that with AI. So I would see it probably in Dr. Schumacher, you can weigh in too, but I would see it certainly our 4.1.1, that instructional technology cadre, would be looking at it from an educational lens of how it fits into our curriculum with our student learning. And then 4.2, which really hasn't, many of those action steps really haven't begun, but that's more focused on the professional learning piece, continuing to make sure that we can provide robust professional learning so that everybody can understand those tools, can have meaningful conversations, use them appropriately, and understand how to use those in their practice and in classrooms. Dr. Schumacher, what would you add?
Yeah, you said everything I would have. We do have that guidance document that Jenny and I would say Dr. Stubblefield was a part of that too, that we are utilizing, and it has been really impactful. But you're correct, Mr. Westbrook, AI is moving so fast. And I was just at a conference last week where they were talking about ways in which teachers were using AI to grade and how we were going to address that as a industry, right? So yes, I'm thankful that our action teams, this will come up in our action teams, and there will be things that are going to be coming to district administration and potentially to the board as recommendations.
Well, I'm really comforted by that answer, and I'm not surprised that we're trying to stay ahead of it, and I commend you for that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Other questions? Okay.
This is specifically about the interpersonal skills from 1.2.1. You referenced the business community, but I truthfully know that, or maybe you can engage with me here. We understand that not all of our students will be going directly into the workforce, so we maintain the mindset that the interpersonal skills that we're trying to, or hopefully one day will incorporate in curriculum, will lead directly into, interpersonal skills for potentially any type of environment that you go to post-graduation. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I can imagine that is. Okay, that's good to know. I was just thinking about some of the interpersonal skills that I picked up in undergrad that, I don't know, living on your own away, you just didn't get when you were in high school, so I was just kind of considering some of those ideas. But I assume we're keeping that in mind as we're creating this potential curriculum for the future in regards to interpersonal skills.
I would say yes. We're trying to cast a wide net to make sure that we can get feedback. So even, our Education Foundation has done some great work through Laura Harsh in terms of engaging many different areas of industry, people working in a variety of different capacities. And so really trying to look broadly at what are the what are all of the various interpersonal skills that might be needed, and then that team really looking at, okay, so now that we've seen all of these things, then what do we want to make sure we are guaranteeing that our students, that we can embed within the work that we're doing with our students day-to-day, pre-K to 12,
Right.
to grow those.
That's what I thought. That's great to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, Ms. Embry?
Yeah, thank you. I want to thank you for the presentation. You used the phrase, Leanne, about accountability processes, which I so appreciate. I think this Gantt chart is fantastic, and I think we do a really good job as a district about being really transparent about what's going to happen when and the pacing of the work. I was wondering if you could talk with me a little bit more about the action teams and sort of how they're configured. I saw some pictures with 6 people, and I saw some pictures with 20 people. If you could just give me a flavor of sort of the size and composition of those action teams. I think as a board member, one of the things I take a lot of comfort in is knowing when it comes to some of these really hard issues that we're putting together groups of people who are diverse and represent all sorts of different perspectives and feeder patterns, and that I don't have to make a decision just on my own, that I get to rely on the wisdom of other people. So if you could shed a little light for us on who those action team members are and how we put them together, I'd appreciate it.
Be happy to. So the first thing that we did once the Cycle 2 plan was put together in terms of looking at the timing of the Gantt chart, we also looked at each of the action steps and to determine, what kind of an action team would we need. This was very similar to what we did in Cycle 1. Many of our action teams are what I would call internal and external, meaning they are comprised of people who work within the district, certified, classified, all kinds of team members, but also external members, meaning from the community, students, parents, community business partners. So most of our action teams are comprised of an internal, external team. There are some, depending on where we are in the process, that may be internal only, where the work is really more focused on we would just need the more of an internal team members that work within the district at where we are in that work, if that makes sense. We have tried to make the action teams around 25 to 30 members. And as you and I both know, life's super busy. So on any given date for an action team, we may have 100% attendance, or we may have some members missing. So, don't always gauge it necessarily by the pictures. Sometimes people take tight pictures or whatever, but that's in general where we've tried to really hit is around 25 to 30. If it's an internal, external team, we've tried to make it closer to that 30 mark. And in many of those cases, if it includes students, we try to get a student from each of the 5 high schools if possible. Also, we try to use a lens as we're putting those together across everybody. So people signed up or were nominated. They had an opportunity to select different action steps that spoke to them or where they felt like their skills would be most focused. And then we asked them to identify, elementary, middle, high, district-wide, what feeder pattern. So we've tried to blend those as much as possible. Also, you have to recognize we need a lot of people to do the work. So we do that to the greatest extent possible. Sometimes we may or may not be able to get the exact most perfect mix, just depending on the number of individuals that we have to work from.
I would also add, Dr. Neal, that we were very intentional as a cabinet to put disparate views, differentiating views on all of the teams. We did not shy away from opinionated voices or anything like that. We made sure that all of those people were on those teams. So I'm really proud of that fact as well. Additionally, we really had to think about which teams would start first. And you can see by this report that we were really ambitious in this first quarter because everybody wanted their action team to get going first, but we couldn't do that. One of the things I'm proud of, though, is that if you look, we have 3 learning teams going right away. If you believe that what we're about is learning, student achievement, I'm proud of the fact that we really prioritize that as well.
I will also say if you hear from individuals who maybe signed up for an action team that is going to kick off in quarter 2, we're finalizing those action teams now. We have left that nomination form open so people can continue, and I do go in periodically, particularly when we're ready to create new teams, to check and see what new members are also in there so that we don't we try not to miss anybody. And so we'll be reaching out to those action teams here probably in the next week to confirm that the individuals can still do it, and then to schedule those first meetings that'll get started here in Q2.
Thank you. That's just super helpful to know that I think it's not just they all look the same. It's really customized based on what the action team is, what they're going to deal with. Do you need more internal or more external, more upper grade or lower grade, what positions within buildings? So I really appreciate that attentiveness to how you can put a team together in the room that's going to be kind of best equipped to guide us. So thank you.
What is, Dr. Neal, what is the time commitment as we're recruiting additional voices in our community? What can they expect in terms of a time commitment? Is there kind of a range or typical?
A lot of people have asked that, and the answer that I've given is it depends, really, right? I don't think there's one pat answer for that. So what I usually tell them is all of the work is done outside of the school day. So that's one thing. If you're going to volunteer, it's going to happen. Many of our teams are meeting around 4 to 4:30 timeframe is when they typically will start. And it can be, many of them will meet monthly, but we know we have like our technology team that's meeting. They've been meeting more like weekly. Some teams may meet bi-weekly. It just depends on what the charge of that step is and the work that they have to get done.
Thank you. Ms. Boyd-Norella? One of the learning teams was focused on kind of the cadre work, the technology piece. And I just want to check if my understanding of cadre is accurate, or how that would work with this technology team. So when I think about that, is that about kind of mapping the instructional resources, the assessments with kind of grade level, by grade level, with kind of the standards and education goals? Is that what the work of a cadre does?
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good that's a pretty good explanation. You know, we have cadres for English language arts. We have cadres for math, science, social studies, social emotional learning, and so this is a kind of a similar structure. Dr. Schumacher?
Yeah, and that team will continue its work after they get through, you're speaking of the personal.
Technology, yeah.
So after they get through this recommendation to us, they will continue the work around age-appropriate use of technology. We told them, listen, you need to focus on this right now and get this to the Board of Education. And then they're going to kind of go backwards and embed that recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Boyd-Norella.
I just wanted to say that as a school board member, cycle one, I came in, cycle one was already in process. So it's truly eye-opening to be at the beginnings of cycle two as a school board member. So I can truly appreciate that perspective at this time. But I love seeing the continuity, sitting in this position at this time, and yet the innovative growth of cycle two. Being someone in the cybersecurity and tech realm, two major tenets that were very pivotal to what you presented today for me was embracing AI, which Mr. Westbrook so eloquently touched upon. And then on the other side of that being that the middle school curriculum, because that too is pivotal to just that age group where they're learning and developing and determining the what ifs beyond technology. But those two are pivotal and major tenets that I've honed in on tonight during the presentation. So I thank you for bringing attention to those two.
Thank you.
Yeah, just thanks to Dr. Neal and thanks to the teams again. This is great work. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Neal. All right, we have two additional items under discussion, two first read policies. And Dr. Schumacher, I'm going to look to you and maybe Ms. Ausleaf, starting with item 3.2.
Yeah, JBCD, open enrollment. This is a first read on both of these. And if you would, just bear with me. There's quite a bit of information on this one that I need to read into the record and make sure you guys are aware of this as well. This policy needs to be updated before January 1 to comply with new requirements for open enrollment. This is in reference to House Substitute for Senate Bill number 387. Updated policy is based on a KASB model policy with adjustments to reflect SMSD practice and procedure. So specifically, and here, please bear with me, the new language stating that virtual schools are exempted from open enrollment requirements, that's one piece. Another piece is that new language clarifying that homeless students do not have to go through the open enrollment process as they are entitled to school of origin protection under the McKinney-Vento Act. Another update is the timeline for acceptance of open enrollment applications. The new open enrollment application window is now January 1 through June 15. A note here that despite the legislator extending the open enrollment window, applicants would not be able to complete their application until after the spring semester once they have the final grade, discipline, and attendance records for that semester. Okay, does that make sense? Right? So even though it's open January 1, they're going to have to wait until the end of the semester to submit that. There's a statement in here that the applicant is responsible for submitting a completed application, including 2 years of school records by the open enrollment deadline, again, which is June 15th, and that incomplete applications will not be processed. This is a SMSD process piece. And then to note here, we experienced problems with this during the last open enrollment session with non-resident parents expecting that Shawnee Mission would make those records requests, and we simply don't have the capacity to get that done. So we made sure to note that. We updated the timeline for processing applications, and so that'll be from June 16th through July 15th. We have to wait until after June 15th. We updated the deadline to communicate denial of an open enrollment application. That deadline will be July 30th. We revised language in the section regarding good standing criteria to clarify that each of the good standing criteria, which includes grades, discipline, and attendance, is evaluated for the previous 2 school years. Okay, so it's going to be a 2 school year look back. This section does not appear in KSB model policy, but was added to provide warning to families about the tight timeline and to reflect that SMSD procedure of not processing incomplete applications. We added a new section setting forth a statutorily required appeal process, which is new this time, and then a few other minor revisions for purpose of clarity. So a lot there.
Thank you. Okay, so if there are questions as you read through that, or if our public has any questions, that they would direct that to the...
Yeah. Ms. Owsley, anything? No? Okay. JBCB is simply adding the 2-year look back for good standing. This is for in-district transfers. We, of course, wanted to make sure that in-district transfer policy mirrored out-of-district transfer policy as well. So we added that 2-year time period in there as well.
All right. Okay. All right, thank you for that update. We are now moving on to consent items. If we go from item 4.1 to 6.1, those are general consent and consent bond items. Do I have a motion to approve if there's no requested changes?
Move approval.
Okay, we have a first, Ms. Hembry, and second, Mr. Westbrook. All right. Any questions, discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. All right, we have a number of action items. 7.1 is approval of contracts for architectural engineering services for the 2025 district roof improvements. Dr. Schumacher.
Yes, I recommend for approval the architectural engineering firm of Hollis Miller Architects for architectural engineering services necessary for the 2025 district roof improvements. The estimated lump sum costs associated with the architectural engineering services are $240,000. The estimated value associated with the A&E services is 4% of the final construction costs based on an estimated value of $6 million. Reimbursable expenses for consultants, printing, copies, deliveries, and job-related trip mileage costs will be an additional estimated $42,500. This is a capital-funded project that aligns with the Shawnee Mission School District Strategic Plan Goal 6.2.4.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second, Hembry.
All right. Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries 6-0. Next, 7.2, approval of contractor for turf installation and field upgrades at the Shawnee Mission Softball Complex. This is a fun one.
It is a fun one. So I recommend ATG Ram Industries, LLC, for the installation of turf and field upgrades at the SMSD softball complex. The proposed improvements would include complete turf on fields 2, 3, and 4, as well as some additional necessary improvements as detailed in the summary and attached quote. The total cost of the project is $2,089,443.30, to be specific, including a 5% contingency for any unforeseen circumstances or additional work required. ATG Ram Industries LLC is a member of the Interlocal Purchasing Systems, a national purchasing cooperative, and this purchase complies with the bidding requirements allowed by the State of Kansas Statute 72-1151. This, too, is a capital-funded expense and aligns with the Shawnee Mission School District Strategic Plan Goal 6.2.4. Dr. Stubblefield is going to give us a little more information, but before he does, if you recall, we did approve 3 and 2 baseball field for men's, boys baseball, and so this, of course, is an appropriate thing for us to recommend as well. Dr. Stubblefield?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Schumacher. Just wanted to take this opportunity to provide you with some context in regard to our baseball and softball facilities. The 3 and 2 baseball complex in Lenexa that is utilized as a competition baseball field by all 5 of our high schools is undergoing significant improvements with turf infield installations currently in progress. If you're familiar with that facility, we utilize 3 of those fields, fields 1, 2, and 7 out there that are getting turf infields, which was, like Dr. Schumacher mentioned, approved back in May in a board meeting during the month of May. Action item 7.02 pertains to a proposal for turfing 3 additional softball fields at our Mauer softball complex in Shawnee, which serves as our competition softball venue for our 5 high schools. Although there is already 1 turf field at this site, the addition of these 3 fields would help us provide greater gender equity, ensuring our softball facilities align more closely with the resources provided for baseball. This project supports Strategy 2, which is belonging, by promoting an inclusive and supportive environment for all student athletes, and Strategy 6, facilities, by enhancing and maintaining high-quality facilities for our schools. We appreciate your consideration on this agenda item as we work to foster equity and support for all of our student athletes.
Great. Okay. Thank you for that. Do we have a motion to approve? Thank you. Second?
Second, Hembry.
All right. Any further questions? Questions? All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you for all that.
Just one thing that I needed to add to that. The softball fields and the baseball fields will be completed by the spring season, so they'll begin playing on those facilities this spring. Pretty exciting.
That is exciting. All right, the next action item, 7.3 to 7.9, are our second reads on a number of board policies, and so we'll take them one at a time, beginning with 7.3, the new board policy JGFGA, Administration of Emergency Opioid Antagonists, second reading.
Yeah, so you said it. I do recommend the approval of this new policy as it reads. I did not get any recommendation for any changes from any board members between last meeting and this one. So maybe leave it at that.
All right, so I need a motion to approve.
So moved, Allison.
Right, second?
Second, Hembry.
Okay, any questions? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Item 7.4 is revised board policy JH, student activities.
Yep, again, second reading on this policy. I do recommend the approval of this policy JH as written. Did not receive any questions or updates from any board members.
All right, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved, Garcia.
Second?
Second, Allison.
All right, again, any questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Item 7.4, revised board policy JH, revised, we're on item 7.5, correct?
Yes.
Revised board policy ID instructional programs, second reading.
Yeah, I do recommend approval of this policy with an amendment. I did hear from one board member who had a question about some language in here. Do you want me to speak to that, Dr. Sinclair? Or?
Why don't we take a first and second, and then let's do that, okay? So can we have a first on this board policy as it reads? All right, second?
Second, Westbrook.
Okay. All right. Oh, yeah, maybe I did not do that in the right order. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Dr. Schumacher. Okay.
So, well, the way it reads right now is that our instructional program is called a program of studies. We have changed that naming to program planning guide. It's better, it's a more effective description of what it is. And so to be accurate, I think it would be appropriate to make that amendment to this policy to change program of studies to program planning guide.
Okay. And that's in reference to the modification. So a modification in this policy would be addition, deletion, alterations to, and instead of the program of studies, would be the program planning guide.
That is
Shall be
correct.
approved by the board. So that's kind of where the board would weigh in on the instruction.
That is correct.
Instructional goals.
That's right. So in the title, it would still read instructional program, but in the body where it says program of studies, it would say program planning guide, and it exists 2 places.
Okay. So I think Shelley prepared a motion. So now I need Sarah for parliamentary procedures. I probably should have waited.
You're fine.
Yeah.
I make a motion to adopt Shelley's motion and amend the language of the
Can
policy
you
as
pass
it
it down?
reads with Dr. Schumacher's recommendation. The wording of revised policy ID instructional program to align with current district terminology by replacing the name program of studies with the name program planning guide. So I make that motion to amend the underlying policy.
All right.
And I'll second that.
Thank you for that second. Okay, so all in favor, well, no, are there any other questions, actually, before we do that? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
So now we're back on the
Okay.
policy
All right.
with those changes implemented.
All right, and we first and seconded that, so I'll say all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. All right, thank you for that. Okay. 7.6, revised board policy BCBK, executive session.
Yeah, I recommend approval of BCBK as written. I did not receive any questions from any board members.
All right, do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval, Hembry.
All right, second?
Second, Boynton Rona.
Okay. Any questions? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Item 7.7, this is about deleting policy BBG consultants.
I recommend the deletion of BBG consultants. This is our second reading. This is in reference to our next item, CJ. Again, I did not hear any questions from any board members.
Okay. All right, so this is a cleanup, so if I can have a motion to
So
approve?
moved. Owsley?
Second?
Second, Boynton Rona.
All right, any
Is this
questions?
mostly just a matter of getting into the right section of the?
7.8 was amended with the recommended language from KASB, and it made 7.7 redundant and
Okay.
unnecessary.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you, good clarification. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Okay, so that brings us to 7.8, revised policy CJ, use of consultants.
Yep, I recommend approval of policy CJ, use of consultants. Again, I did not hear any questions from any board members.
Okay, motion to approve.
So moved. Owsley?
All right, second?
Second, Hembry.
All in, any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. And then our final action item, 7.9, revised board policy KK regarding sale of district property.
I recommend approval of board policy KK, sale of district property. No comments or questions from any board members.
Okay, all right, and do I have a motion to approve?
So moved, Garcia.
Second?
Second, Boynton Rona.
Okay, Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. All right. This brings us to board comments. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share?
I would just like to briefly congratulate board member, is it backwards? How can you tell? Oh, look. It all looks the same. Congratulations to Shawnee Mission North Bisons and Coach Andy Walter for a fantastic game. North beat South 29-20. It was still an excellent game. There were many elected officials there. It was good camaraderie. It was just enjoyable. We lost, but other than that, it was a fantastic game. Way to go. The end.
That was awesome. That was
In the spirit of camaraderie. I thought I'd snag a South hat, but it was a fun time with the fellow colleague. And like you said, a couple Overland Park City Council folks were at the game as well, and it was really cool to see from their perspective, just, they serve the same constituencies and families and community. It was just great to be in community there at South, and it was a beautiful fall night. And good luck to all the teams playing in regionals, or excuse me, not regionals, but sub-state coming up this week, and hoping that every student in the district has a wonderful and safe Halloween. Enjoy that Friday off.
All right. That's awesome. I don't know if anybody else can top that, but board comments are open. All right. I love that. Okay. I'm going to adjourn our meeting, and our next regularly scheduled board meeting is November 11th. Everybody have a great night. Thanks so much.